In the 2 weeks since Avalon Hill has dropped their Discord server, we've actually gotten some humongous news. And not huge news like my last video where it ended up just being concept art, like actual huge news. But just like last time, we're gonna talk about all the stuff that anyone who's been paying attention probably already knows. As of last week, Avalon Hill's lead developer and a noted viewer, Chris Nadeau, has been posting tidbits of lore and concept art and new units pretty much every single day, every single work day. Man's got to take a weekend. Last week, we got to learn all about the Dawn Raider Syndicate. The Dawn Raider Syndicate is a faction of mercenaries that don't work for any of the Valkyrie generals. For those of you who are new here, the Valkyrie generals are kinda like the colors in Magic the Gathering, if I'm just like grotesquely oversimplifying them. It's looking like there's gonna be a mesh of species making up this faction, including a shark-looking dude, a pirate captain just called the Widow, and motherfucking Morrow pirates. Now, if you don't know why Morrow pirates are a big deal, it's because the Morrow are like the signature species of Heroscape. They even had their own master set made after them. Dadscaper, who's one of the community members that's on the design team, did mention that the Morrow pirate is a unique unit, which means that we're probably not going to see a lot of Morrow pirates. It's probably just going to be that one guy. Now, for all you lore whores out there, what's kind of interesting about this is that the Morrow are a hive mind race, just like the Zerg or... yeah. So there's a lot of discussion in the lore community right now about how this one guy broke free from the hive mind to become a pirate. Continuing with the lore whore galore, the Dawn Raiders' whole shtick is that they're incredibly diverse and that they like combat for the sport of it.
I am stupid. I am stupid.
And their other shtick that makes them unique is that they're run by a council of captains. Now, in the lore, this council of captains handles all the leadership responsibilities, but this does translate into actual gameplay ramifications. Now, for example, the Monster Slayer's unique squad that we all saw at Gen Con has an ability where they can choose a captain from a list of unique captains. That captain, I feel like I'm saying that a lot, gives the Monster Slayer squad an additional defense die if they're within 4 spaces of the captain and if they have clear line of sight to the captain. Now, speaking of captains, like I mentioned, we also learned about the Widow, who's a unique captain that has an ability where if you place an order marker on her for that round, all other Dawn Raider faction members get +1 attack die. Now, I'm dumb as a rock, but this really tells me that the design team is really leaning into factional synergies this go around. Now, I know some Heroscape hardos are going to hammer me with a, but the Roman legionaries on the ground. That's so dumb. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more single faction armies than the old hodgepodge of, you know, oh, it takes some Roman legionaries and some musket men and some elves and throw them all together. Last week, we were also introduced to another new faction, the Ironclad Collective. To me, these guys are like a total 180 from the gruff and tough, but still kind of heroic Dawn Raider Syndicate that we learned about 2 weeks ago. The Ironclad Collective gives off vibes of just being cold and evil and just bringing on the robot apocalypse. This is probably because they are literal robot nightmare death machines. Now, something Nadeau really emphasized this past week in all of his posts is the design team's goal to really integrate round 2 of Heroscape with round 1 of Heroscape. Yes, they do want to expand the Heroscape universe with new factions, new species, maybe new generals, who knows, so that they don't alienate newcomers to the game. But they also want to make sure they don't forget about what got us here. Nadeau stated that his goal is that kids who were born after the game was canceled can integrate just fine with all the old heads who've been making customs and keeping this game alive. I may have editorialized that ever so slightly. Dadscaper confirmed that the game will still be the game we all know and love, just with a couple supplements added to it, like the whole captain's rule, normal expansion stuff. Now, of course, week 2 of information hasn't been without its controversies. In week 1, we had the whole unpainted minis controversy, and now we have seen another conversation going amongst the many butthurt nerds of the internet. That conversation is that the new units are too steampunk. They're too new. They deviate from the original Heroscape too much. The biggest worry, and one that I'll admit I was kind of worried a little bit, is that we're not going to see truly historical figures. Because 2 weeks ago, they released concept art for Pirate Queen Bonnie and said that she is an ode to the historical units of Heroscape. But I don't know about you, she doesn't look historical at all. She looks like a sci-fi space pirate. So a lot of people took to the internet very butthurt, thinking that Hasbro was going to abandon the whole battle for all time, mix of sci-fi, fantasy, and history that we saw in Heroscape 1.0. But have no fear, butthurt nerds. This past Friday, they released concept art of Onimitsu, an actual bona fide genuine ninja defending the shogun. So it looks like we're getting legit historical units. Maybe now you can use your butthurtness for things that actually matter. Hello friends, this is Editor Austin from the future. This video took me a little bit longer to put together than I had originally planned on, so it turns out that we have another new release on the Discord channel. This time it is about the Dryan Lifeborn Order. So it looks like Hasbro's dipping into the fantasy side of Heroscape for this week. These guys are from the planet Arboreus, and they seem to be like nature dryad dudes. They look pretty cool. So that's everything that any idiot with a Discord account or a Heroscapers account can figure out pretty quickly and easily. But there's gotta be more, right? Once again, huge shouts to Cap Socrates for making my life way easier and collecting all this information into one spot. He's basically doing all the work here, and I'm just the idiot who's making the video of it. There's a lot of info, man, and I've got 2 jobs on top of doing this. I don't have time for that. So first off, the whole myth that there's going to be 30 figures with 0 common squads at launch has been debunked. Chris Nadeau, who goes by in Carmine on Discord, said specifically that those numbers are definitely wrong. He then followed it up with, why would we bring Heroscape back after all these years just to release 30 figures? Now, there's a bit of a debate going on in the community as to whether that means more than 30 figures in the initial product offering or more than 30 figures that they have planned over the next, 2 years of releases. Now, in that same vein, Nadeau's also confirmed that all of the content for the initial release has been finalized. When you add that he said that we're on a timeline of weeks and not a timeline of months, it really makes me think we're going to be seeing Heroscape 2.0 a lot sooner than some of the cynics think. Of course, if it does come out like Christmas 2023, please do not sue me. And for those of you who've been kind of frustrated at the rather fluffy lore that's been getting released, they have said that the design team is not in charge of what gets released to the public. It's those damn rascals over at marketing. Now, of course, speaking of fluffy lore, they have said that the Dawn Raider Syndicate, and we can assume the Ironclad Collective, are going to be long-term factions. They're going to be keeping up with these factions as the game progresses in its release. This isn't like design something really cool, dump it on the consumers, and then just be like, all right, we done. And expanding on that, the design team is taking the lore a lot more seriously this go around. Nadeau said that they want to flesh out the planets, they want to flesh out the species, maybe even flesh out the generals, who knows? And while we're continuing to talk about fluffy lore that hardcore grognards really don't care about, Nadeau has said that every single member of the Heroscape War Council, as he calls it, jumped onto this project, no hesitation. Basically, this is a project that is being done out of love and not a quick cash grab. And if it turns out that it is being done for a quick cash grab, god damn it, sir, you have fooled us all, or at least me. But what about the D&D lore I don't hear you say because I'm talking into a camera? Well, I'm just gonna let you read this word vomit, come up with your own conclusion. Back to the mechanical juice. And welcome back, Grogs. We've finally gotten word as to whether or not they're gonna be doing reprints of all of the old figures. And it's looking like that's gonna be a no, at least for now, which makes sense. They probably wanna get this whole thing off the ground, make sure that people are actually buying it before they start investing in bringing back all that old infrastructure. Mass manufacturing is a complicated process. I totally get it. Keeping on the negative news train, there's a tidbit that's really gonna piss off the Heroscape faithful with massive rods up their asses. The new units are going to be scaled to that of other miniatures from other miniatures games, not the old Heroscape units. Yes, they will be completely backwards compatible with the old units in gameplay, they just might be a little bit bigger. But the biggest reveal, in my not so humble opinion, the thing that changes everything, is that Age of Annihilation is not the name of the upcoming master set. It's the name of the era within the Heroscape lore. Now I know that just seems like fluffy bullshit that doesn't matter, but this has major implications to the release of Heroscape 2.0. There's not going to be a master set. Well, at least Nadeau said, who said there's a master set? And then he then followed that up with, nobody on the team said that there's going to be a master set. Now, like I mentioned, I'm dumb as fuck, but that tells me that they're not dropping a master set as we know it. My thought is that they might be dropping the terrain separately from the units, and they'll let you choose your own units. Maybe they'll take the Warhammer approach and have the factions of units grouped together so that you can pick and choose what faction you really like. Either way, this is absolutely massive news, and I'm so stoked to hear more about what they're going to do with the actual launch. So that's everything that we know after 2 weeks of info releases. If you didn't see the first collection of info, it is right here, and fuck it, here's another video that I've done that the algorithm says that you might enjoy. Thank you so much for watching.